So, I wanted to go ahead and clarify. I was watching a Ring of Fire video, and it was saying the factor that apparently almost half the country want Trump to go on trial and want a verdict before the election. All right? Now, keep in mind, factors he didn't say that every single person in the United States took the same poll. All right? That's number one. Number two, he ended up going ahead and framing it as, we want to go ahead and decide whether, to vote for a convicted felon or, the other guy, you know. And the screwed up part is, he said apparently that ends up being the determining factor because if there is no trial, they're absolutely going to vote for, apparently for Trump. And it just screws with my head because keep in mind the lack of, transparency in the situation. Just trying to, garnish up still as much hyper focus on the situation as possible. It's like, all right, this right here is a lesson on informed consent. All right? Now, see, people want to go ahead and complain. Oh, because of the factor of past weaponized vagueness and past weaponized incompetence, automatically, the accused should be automatically viewed as guilty. Permanently guilty. With no recourse of being able to go ahead and be able to progress forward in life, despite meeting all of the criteria set by the legal system. And that is literally how it is for anybody that has gotten caught up in the legal system in some form or another at any point in their life. The false dichotomy. It's literally, congratulations, if you have ever even taken a hit of marijuana. You are the equivalent of a fucking 20-year embezzle, steal, take everything and pawn everything that you have ever obtained in your life for crack. Equivalent of a drug addict. If you have ever taken a sip of alcohol, you are forever a fucking alcoholic that needs to go ahead and seek treatment because when you were a teenager, you took a sip of wine. So that means you're the equivalent of somebody that goes and drinks fucking 5 gallons of hard liquor a day. Are you understanding nuances now? Making the decision of, who am I going to vote for to run the country? Having it be like, it's going to be based on if they're a convicted felon or not a convicted felon. All right. Well, ultimately, there were accusations that need to go ahead and get boiled down to, did it happen? Did it not happen? All right. There were conditions and stipulations set. Were those stipulations and conditions met? Like, for example, when I was younger, as a teenager, I ended up stealing a couple of packs of fucking collectible cards. Alright? Literally. So imagine being accused of being a criminal fucking mastermind. Alright? Just this master fucking thief. Alright? That will go ahead and steal and take everything that is not fucking nailed down because of in total stealing not even $20 worth of products from large corporation that literally would go ahead and see that $20 worth of, items stolen and be like, all right, so that's just an inventory loss. Just got to go ahead and write it off. And deciding, you know what? The punishment for this person stealing $20 worth of a collectible card is they are going to have to go ahead and be dragged through the legal system for almost 20 fucking years. And also for reciprocity, because apparently the corporation is the victim of the situation. That person that stole $20 worth of inventory from that store has to go ahead and pay for the entirety of the loss and damages from that location, including all food that has fucking expired. Alright? So literally, because they stole $20 worth of product, they need to pay millions of dollars that they do not have to go ahead and fund the entirety of that store's location. Because once a thief, always a thief. Are you understanding grandiose mentality? And the factor, too, of being like, okay, what we need to understand is going to be deemed a convicted felon before going ahead and casting a vote. It's like, well, are you understanding intentional vagueness yet? It's kind of like when somebody goes ahead and attempts to entrap you by being intentionally vague about details that would end up going ahead and making the determinant factor of if you would consent to doing something or not. Like, for example, if you got invited out for a drinking night, all right? You got invited out to a bar, all right? You would think that you are being invited by somebody who is legal to drink. And you would think that by going to a location that you are going to drink at, that ultimately everybody in said location, because of the factor that there is not supposed to be anybody under the capacity and capability of being able to legally drink at said establishment, that ultimately you would be able to be at said establishment without having to worry about, hey, am I around anybody that is in any way, shape, or form not supposed to be here, not supposed to be doing something, or is doing something wrong by being here in the first place? Are you understanding why there are segregated establishments? All right? And understand, there are certain factors that should be viewed just as wrong as the other. Like, I don't know opinion-wise if you would agree with me, but I think that it should be normalized to go ahead and shame somebody that is not of legal drinking age for wanting to go to a club or go to a bar, acting like they're fucking grown, wanting to think that they're fucking grown, just because, they feel like that's acceptable behavior. That should be viewed not as cool, but equally as fucking creepy as if an adult who had no children wanted to go ahead and go and be at a fucking, like, for example, like Chuck E. Cheese. All right? Well, having no children there, not being there for an event that one of their family members would end up going ahead and having. Are you understanding the nuances? All right? Adults without kids going into, a amusement park or an arcade or something like that. Creepy as fuck. All right? No reason for it. All right? kids going into a bar, acting like they are adults, and thinking that ultimately the ramifications for their lie should lie on somebody else, should be treated equally as creepy as fuck. Can you agree with that? Can we normalize that?